A hello to you, Jonathan, the second Lithuanian I've had on Discover the Real World. Great to see you. And how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, we're slowly taking over. I'm very happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah, very slowly. 2 out of 150 interviews. Yeah, slow progress, eh?
We'll get there.
But
We'll
it's
get
getting there.
there. Yeah.
Okay, so I know you're over in Thailand. It's 5 p.m. for you. How comes you're in Thailand? And what have you done so far during your day?
Today,
Yep.
woke up, got a bit of work done, messaged the guys, met up with the guys that I'm with here. Planning to go to Muay Thai tomorrow. What else did I do today? Yeah, went to the mall, bought some stuff, came back. The taxi driver went the wrong way. You know what I was telling you about. And now I'm back here doing the interview. Yeah.
Okay. And you're in a hotel room? How comes you're not with Paul and your brother? Because I remember Paul saying you three live together, right?
Yeah, we live together. So usually what we do is we get Airbnbs. But this time we kind of really messed up and ended up getting this hotel, like just completely famoosed us. It was supposed to be like a nice hotel, but it's very, very not nice. We'll put it that way. Yeah, very simplistic.
Okay.
Yeah. The
Interesting.
picture
So you
got
guys
us.
just traveling around. How did you meet each other? How did you come together like that?
Well, Kenneth, it was in the family. Like that's my brother, and then Paul, we met. He was first on my basketball team, and then later on, I met him in college. It was my first day in college, and we ended up meeting. And I hadn't really talked to him, even though I was kind of like I was on many basketball teams, and I was on his basketball team as well. And we never really got to talk to one another. And then on the first day of college, we ended up talking. And then he wouldn't leave me alone, and then we became friends. That's what happened. Oh, honest truth, yeah.
Okay. Then what? You decided to move to Thailand. Why? What was the thought process there?
Well, we did. I suppose we started learning Muay Thai when we started listening to the Tates. So we started listening to Tates, and I was like, all right, boys, now we have to start fighting. We have to get this done. So I got them. We joined the gym back when we were living in Ireland, and we joined the gym there, started training, and then we kind of fell in love with the culture. We decided to travel through Europe first, and we lived in Portugal for quite a while. And then we're like, there was no training happening, and I don't know, it might be a bit controversial, but even if you're making money, or even if you've got the other things happening, if you're not really training and you don't have that physical output, like that, aggression, it doesn't feel as good in my opinion. You need that kind of adrenaline, you need the fear, the anxiety. I like that. So we're here now, and hopefully we'll find a nice place to train and get back into that whole thing.
Yeah. Your day doesn't quite feel the same if you haven't been punched in the face a few times.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. You're walking through life unaware,
Mm-hmm. And yeah, what you're saying, you say controversial, and it's not. It's just having competency in every realm of human endeavor, as Tate says, is the hallmark of the man.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree with him on that particular thing. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. So what's the plans in Thailand? Are you moving permanently or just Airbnb-ing and then traveling somewhere else after?
I got to sort out a bunch of visa things, but we're gonna try and stay here. I want a permanent base. You can't really, this whole digital nomad thing of traveling around all the time. You don't really get the best workout, out of yourself. You can't really force yourself to work that well in hotel rooms. And if you're always switching every 5 days or something, you need kind of regular sleep. You need a desk, and if you have dual monitors or something like that, if you've set up like that, you need a permanent place basically. So I want my goal now is to find a place that we can stay for a long time.
Good. Yeah. Fair enough. And how long did you live in Ireland? Because your accent does seem very Irish.
You're the first person to tell me my accent seems Irish. Most people say American, but I've been in Ireland for about 16 years maybe. Yeah, I grew up there. Yeah, we went back to Lithuania a few times and then came back again. Yeah.
But were you born in Lithuania?
I was born in Lithuania. Yeah. I moved over to Ireland. Moved over to Ireland about 9 years old or something like that.
Okay. I guess I was a bit earlier, born in Lithuania, but moved over to UK age 5.
How
So
did
yeah.
you manage to keep the Lithuanian accent, or not the Lithuanian accent, the Lithuanian language?
I'd go back quite often during holidays because I had friends I grew up with on the same street in Lithuania, so I wanted to keep visiting them, visiting grandparents, because it was just my mom that came over to UK. So everything else I grew up with was over in Lithuania. So I'd go back, visit quite often, and speak Lithuanian there.
Would you go back during the summers?
Yeah, some just any school holidays I used to go back. Even when my mom would go traveling to different places, I'd only want to go Lithuania when I was younger, just
Yeah.
to go back to the friends that I grew up with, and yeah, just
There's
family.
something special about that place.
I
Yeah.
mean, not anymore. I don't like it anymore. But back when I was growing up, I loved it. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Now it's looking like Spain and Dubai. Those
Spain
are
and
the
Dubai.
special places.
Okay. I like Spain. I like the north of Spain. I've never been to the south. And Dubai, I have to go this year.
Mhm.
I don't know
South
when, but
Spain is very nice. Around Marbella, that area. Would definitely recommend visiting.
okay, that's on the list now as well.
Cool.
I wanted to settle down, but here I go again.
Think you're settling down in Thailand and you give South of Spain a visit. Oh, guys, we have to relocate.
Yeah,
South of Spain is better.
okay, Airbnb again. Here we go.
Okay, so let's go on to the real world now. What did you do? How did you discover the real world? What did you get into? And how has that been financially?
I discovered it, I guess, was like, well, back in the day, it was called Hustlers University. So I joined maybe about a year and a half ago. And I was just, the first time I saw Tate, I was like, who is this guy? Like, like his videos, like really, the first video I saw, like just completely put me off. But then it got me engaged. And then I started watching more of his stuff. I'm like, okay, I agree with that. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, this is pretty good. And then like, now and again, he'd drop in the Hustlers University thing. I didn't really know what it was. I thought it was like, is it like a Forex thing? Is it like a group? Like, is it like a trading group? Like, I didn't really know what it was. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. And so I joined, about a year and a half ago. And then I started off which I was like, okay, I want the money the quickest, So I started off with copywriting, but that didn't really give me success very quickly. So I was like, okay, next, and I started trying a few other things, and then eventually got to the marketing section that they're teaching, and I just started I was like, wow, there's a lot of information here. Like, this is just insane, And mind you, at this time, I'm going through a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, I'm still in college, so I'm exposed to quite a lot of information. And then I was like, the amount of information in this place is just insane. I was just learning so much. I was like, even if I don't make any money, just for the fact that I'm learning so much, I'm like, I'll be fine. Like, at least something I can use from here, So yeah, I went into eventually kind of settled down in the marketing campus, and then just started working there and started growing accounts very quickly. Started learning about social media, about algorithms, things that you wouldn't be able to find it on YouTube. So yeah, and then absorbing all the knowledge from the professors like Luke. I learned a lot from him. So yeah, that's what I did. And then I stuck with marketing, and then eventually started growing it out into some sort of I guess a business. And then now we have 10 guys that work with us, and we grow various social media pages. We work with lots of, I suppose, athletes and famous people, or people who want to become famous. And it's been going quite well.
Very nice. So in terms of scaling, let's go with, how did you acquire your first client? And then how have things developed since? So you've built a whole team now. So from first client to whole team, what was the process there?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things happened, but okay, we'll start with the first client. So my first client, I don't know where, but inside the campus, one of the campuses, someone said, I think maybe it was in the copywriting campus, they were like, you can get your first client by asking around and seeing, just like in your local community, seeing who needs help and seeing if you can do it for free for them, right? So at the time I was training Muay Thai, and I was like, all right, let me try my gym. So, and that ended up being our first client. So what happened was, we did a month's work for free. And we built everything. We built our social media, we built like the website, did all the Photoshop, the pictures, we're recording the videos, we're like, doing all the editing for them. It was just like a lot of work, and no pay. Like if you ask me to do the same job now without 20 G's, I am not touching it. Like, nah, no way, But anyway, so we did 1 month, and then we're working like 12 hours a day on this thing, and it ended up like doubling their sales. Just like, no, actually, it was triple their sales. They had like a record of the amount of signups they had for the beginners class, and I was like, could beat it, and we ended up tripling the amount. Like, so it was pretty crazy. And then after the first month finished, we went to have we're gonna like negotiate, get the first deal done. Like, and I'd never done like that kind of deal before, in like a business sense. Like I've negotiated for like salaries and things like that, but I've never done it in a business sense. So we went in, and I was like, okay, we have to take him for dinner. So we took him for dinner, and I ended up paying like 130 euro for the dinner myself, for like all of us. And then the deal was only 250 euro per month. So it was just like, I just had no idea of like what was a good amount of money to charge, and like, how business was really done. Like, so it was a complete like beginner thing. And we ended up working for a bit together. And then eventually, once we realized like there's no way we can, scale at this kind of like small rate, we have to like, we couldn't work together. And there was no way, like they didn't have that much money where they could like cover the amount of cost that we wanted, or to pay the amount that we wanted. We didn't even ask. We're like, this is just going to be like just way too much for them, And at that point, we had started getting other clients. So we just kind of ended it with them, but they're still very fantastic people, and they're still reaping the benefits of the work that we put in with them. Like, so it's very good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you asked me, how did we get to now scaling and things like that? Yeah. So then it just became one client. A lot of like, we don't even advertise what we do. Like, so everything for us just pretty much just comes from referrals, like we don't really reach out. We don't really do any of that. Most of it just really just comes from referrals. So people really like what we do. They come and they say like, oh, this guy said that you were very good and you can do this and you can help me with this. Boom, boom, we get a quick deal done, and then we end up working for quite a bit of time together, and then more and more people come. So that's kind of how I suppose it's scaling right now. But soon we're going to do a lot more reach out once we have the capital, because I want to start hiring more people, and then reinvest and just like scale it out and things like that.
Very interesting. So for the 250 a month, damn, that was a lot of work the first month. You're saying 12 hours a day, and then second month you only get 250. That's quite painful. Damn.
Yeah. But it's good. Do you know what? I like these lessons because they make good stories, eventually. Because I'm sometimes I sit with the lads and I'm like, do you know what, lads? Do you remember when we were charging like we'll get paid like, I don't know, I don't want to say full amounts, but let's say we get paid like a couple of grand or whatever, like for a bit of work, right? Now obviously it's expertise work, so it's, it takes a lot of pre-preparation to get to that point, but we'll get paid a couple of grand for like, I don't know, like 5 hours work, like for one thing, and we'd be like, do you know what, lads? Do you remember when we were doing like 12 hours a day for 250 euro a month? Do you remember that? So it's good like that.
Okay, so in terms of financial income now, how much can you reveal that you're making?
I can say that we make more than 10K per month consistently. Yeah. Okay. I can say that.
And that has been consistently for how many months now?
5 or 6 minimum, I'd say. Yeah. Once we hit that first 10K, we haven't dipped, and then it's just been. I can't say too much. I don't know how much the lads want me to say, so.
Yeah, that's completely fine.
10K. Yeah.
So, what would you say, outside of maybe acquiring that high-paying client, what would you say was the biggest challenge you faced when first starting out with video editing and marketing?
The first challenge.
The biggest challenge, yeah.
You know what it is? Like, and I think this is what most things. I think it's just like sticking to something. Like you want to quit so bad, like if you don't see results early on, like, or if you see very little money, you just want to quit, like, and that's in the back of your mind all the time. And that's the challenge that you have to get through first. Like, for example, even with Paul, when you were interviewing him and he was talking about the copywriting, like, so I don't think he revealed the full journey. Like he made like no money for like a good while. And then I remember like ChatGPT came out and he was doing copywriting and he's like, fuck, like it's over. you know. And then like 2 weeks later, he landed a client for like, I don't know, something like 1,000 or something. And then again he landed another one, and then another one, and now only like I think this morning an amount came in. So for us, the we judge it is like, it's like, is the amount increasing and is the work we have to do decreasing? Does that make sense? Like the hours input. So like he got paid like 3 grand for like way less work than he would have for the original, let's say amount, the first 1,000 that he paid, which he works every day for, you know. So yeah, it's just not quitting. Like he could have given up, but like obviously if you have a support group, like none of us are quitters. Like we don't have that in our circle at all. Like we will get it done by hook or by crook. Doesn't matter which way, it will get done. So we're like that. And then he just kept going. My brother was the same with the graphic design. He was just like, you know, and initially he was very talented, but like nobody knew about him, and like he wasn't getting any work. And then one after the other, boom, 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 and then bigger and bigger projects, you know. So things like that. Mm-hmm. So eventually, you're probably, what's going to happen is you're probably not going to make any money at the start, and then you'll hit some point if you just don't quit, keep working, and then eventually it'll just start going up like this.
Exponential. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite. If you look at it in terms of a graph, if you're working a 9-to-5 job, you just kind of get a steady salary. I mean, you start off at an average amount, and then it's like barely increasing over time. Whereas with this, you're starting out putting in a lot of work, not getting anything, but then once things do click, it just goes, and yeah, you're making way more than you would have during your 9-to-5. And usually at that point, the skill set you've built up is also recession proof, so it's actually even safer than working a 9-to-5, which people don't realize.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to working like this compared to a 9-to-5 for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's, I see some of the people when I was doing my master's, and I quit my master's with 1 month to go because I started making money. Right? Cool. Mm-hmm. And I quit my master's anyway, and I still see the people. They message me sometimes, and they're always like, they see me living the life on Instagram. I guess the life, you know, I'm working most of the time, but it looks like I'm having a party. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the people kind of, I asked them, I'm like, did you even get a job like in your degree? Like, and they're like, only one person out of a class of like 14. And this was like a super like exclusive master. This was neuropharmacology. Like this wasn't some easy walk in the park, you know, not some liberal degree. And then only one person ended up getting a job with their degree. Like, so that's, you know, and then I was thinking, because sometimes you start on these journeys and you start thinking like, well, did I make the right decision? You know, because you'd be like, well, maybe the other side was better. You know, you start thinking like that. But then if you actually evaluate it for what it is, and you're like, okay, yeah, I made the right decision. Yeah, my life is completely different to theirs, you know.
Right. Similar situation with me, not quite as hardcore as you. I dropped out with 6 months left of uni and a 4-year degree.
You're still trapped.
Because it just feels like you don't want to waste, once you realize what's possible, you don't want to waste that time on a university degree when you can be putting in every one of those minutes into building something of your own, and knowing that the sooner you start, the sooner you'll scale it.
What did you study in university? If you
don't Artificial intelligence and robotics.
Okay, yeah. So, and what made
it would have been pretty good in the AI era.
Yeah, I suppose. But like, what made you kind of leave it instead?
The real world. I just found out what's possible for all the campuses, and I'm like, I just want to dedicate my time to this. From the age of 16, I had decided that I wanted to build something of my own. I just was waiting for the idea or something to come along in order to actually go along with it. And until then, I was going through the school system as a backup.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So
as soon as I found the real world, I'm like, well, this is what I was looking for. So time to drop out.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Mm-hmm. Did you have much people judging you?
I didn't tell many people.
Yeah, fair enough. And your parents, no?
Yeah. My mom was supportive because she's seen from past experiences now the decisions I've made have worked out very well. So at this point, she just believed that I knew what was the right thing to do.
Fair enough, yeah. I suppose if you have a track record of doing well and succeeding and making the right decisions, people stop downing you after a while.
Yep. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, now back to interviewing you. How?
Conversation.
Pardon?
It's a conversation, isn't it?
Yes. So, how different has the material been within the real world compared to what's out there on the internet?
So, on the internet, if you Google things and you look things up on YouTube, they're going to be like 2-3 months old. So what's promoted by the algorithm is going to be already 2-3 months old. You're going to have a hard time. You have to like click a filter to search for something that is going to be good. Then you have to look through like a bunch of videos, and then you're like, okay, and that's my solution. Whereas in the real world, do you remember the minute like ChatGPT came out? Boom, the next day, almost
Yep.
the next day, they started using ChatGPT already, telling you how to use it, how to make money using it. I remember Midjourney came out as well, or what is it, Dolly, isn't it? The one
Dolly.
that generates, yeah, the one that generates the images, and instantly in the marketing campus, the very next day, they're like, boom, use it like this. This is the input. There was a whole tutorial already done. Boom, like you can't. Do you know when Tate says like speed, and he's like, you know, you got to go fast, you got to go speed. Like they literally live that. Like it's insane. Like it's just like boom, the newest thing comes out, they're there, and then you're already utilizing it, whereas your competition is still watching the 3-month video or the 3-month old video, you know. So you're just already ahead of the pack. Like you just get the information firsthand before everybody else, before Twitter, before anything. So
Right.
and it's already like prepared to you nicely, so you don't have to like sift through like a bunch of academic papers or anything like that, you know.
Mhm.
So that's what I find is the difference.
And why do you think they provide all of this value for $50?
Why do I think they provide? That's a good
Yeah.
question. Maybe they do. Just I think they believe in it. The honest answer, I think they believe in it so much that they know that it will scale. That's my honest answer. I think they just know that it's such a good product that there's nothing else out there, that people are going to be just basically so inclined to buy it that they can offer it at such a low price, and it's going to be like they're going to get so many people signing up and staying on. You know, I think that's the honest truth.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't found anything that is at all similar to the real world. Like,
Yeah, there really isn't. Before, I remember in my first few months of joining, I was hearing some professors saying that it's the best educational platform on the planet. And at the time, it kind of seemed weird. I mean, is it really? Surely there's something else. But I mean, all these interviews I've been doing, your 150th interview, and just seeing the impact it has had on people, and really trying to find anything that's similar, there isn't anything.
yeah, nothing at all. Even the
Even
ones,
universities, the only advantage I see of a good university, let's say Harvard, Cambridge, would be the connections. Maybe then, I think in terms of actual learning, I mean, it makes sense if you're a doctor, you're not going to learn how to be a doctor within the real world. But just in terms of money, I think the real world is even better than something like Harvard or Cambridge. It's just that in those universities, you'd get the connections, which would be more beneficial in a way, because networking is a cheat code, as I'm sure you've seen yourself.
yeah, it is a cheat code, but in the universities, like I went to high-end universities, like I've been accepted to these high-end universities, but they don't, like you're not just gonna walk in and someone's gonna like, here you go, here's a job, like you know, for 100 grand a year or something like that. You know, it's not gonna be like that. It's a slow grind. You're in there. It's basically an office job simulation in some way. You know, you're sitting in the classroom. You get to take breaks when they tell you to take breaks. You know, it's just school on steroids. Like it's not, it really isn't all that special. Like, you know, and for the people that are probably like, there's some people here I know that will listen to this and they'll probably be like maybe 16 or something, and they'll think like, well, university, you know, it's this big, grandiose, fantastic thing where I'll learn so much from, and it really isn't. Like, it just isn't. The problem with university, it teaches you to be extremely inefficient. Um, you're not even judged by the market. So when you do a test, there's a couple of people who are experts, so to speak, you know, who judge your work. Whereas if you're in business or you work on the stuff that the real world teaches you, you're judged by the market. You're judged by millions, hundreds of millions. You're judged by the actual market, you know. And if you're a very competitive person, if you're a person that likes to achieve things, you want to be judged by the market. You don't want to be judged by a few people, you know. So that's the way I look at it, you know, and that's why I didn't like university as well. I just felt like they just were slowing me down. They were like, I remember I turned in a paper and I got it done in like 24 hours, and this was supposed to be a thing that was supposedly take a week. But if you're good with tech and things like that, you can get work done really quickly. And the lecturer was like, no, I can't accept this. I said, why? Because you finished it too quickly.
Wow.
And I'm like, is it good or not? Have you read it? And then he's like, no, I'm not even going to read it. He's like, obviously it's rushed. It's like no clue. Like I stayed up all night working on this thing, like, and he just rejected it. Turned in the same paper just a week later, and he's like, oh, very good work. I was like,
Wow.
Just clown world.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to how has your average day changed? So, as an example, what does your average day look like now compared to before you joined the Real Watch?
My average day. I've always been like a hard worker. Like I've always worked like 12-hour days. I've never liked, whether it was in sports or something, I have to have stress. I need like a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. I need just lots of work, like where I'm like, fuck, this is too much. Otherwise, like I can't sleep. So I guess it hasn't changed from that perspective. But what has changed is that like now I wake up, in nice locations, and I don't wake up in a 1-bedroom apartment, with like a bed I made out of like wooden pallets. I can send you all these pictures, man. The transformation is crazy. So yeah, like I wake up, like don't mind this hotel, but usually I wake up in like nice places. I'll go work out every morning. That's something that I used to not do until I joined the marketing campus, which is what Luke teaches you. He says to work out every single day, every morning. Just get up, get it done. So I get up, I work out every day. And then I just start and I go to work. I meet my team. Usually we just, for us, it's like a living room or like some common work area. We meet, we get together, like what needs to get done, what's the emergency, is there somebody who hasn't paid, or is something happened, and there's, usually there's always something happening, like, so it's fun. And and then we start get to work, and then I'm like, okay, what are you working on? What is this happening? What is this happening? Talking to all the guys, boom, boom, boom. And then, it's all money based. It's all like growth based, basically. Like there isn't really much, we don't really talk politics. We don't really talk, I guess we don't know TV shows. We don't, like, I don't know, like some person will be like, oh, did you watch? I don't know any names. I don't know what's happening in the news. I really don't know anything. All I care about is work, making sure that we deliver a good service, and, making sure that all the people that work with us are all taken care of. Like that's all I care about. So that's what my focus is on. Before it was all about like academic achievements and things like that. And, trying to be basically a good student and trying to go to the jobs that I had and things like that. But now it's all business. It's all, it's pretty serious stuff.
Right. So I want to go back a bit to where you mentioned chaos, because I have similar situation as well, where when I have projects piling on or just new things coming up, I love that chaos of trying to sort it out as fast as possible and efficiently, everything. I don't know, it just feels good. Usually other people, they probably wouldn't like the stress, but it seems for you and for me, we actually enjoy it.
Yeah, I think the best things get done under stress. I genuinely believe that. I think the best innovations, the best kind of like solutions, like come about when you're under stress. I think, usually there's always like some dip, like some big like negative dip maybe, and then it's like a big spring up from my experience. So that's the way I find it. Like without the stress, I'm like, oh, I'll be chilling. Oh, what do I do today?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't do that. No, I need as much as possible.
And okay, so I'm wondering, where does your stress tolerance come from? Is it something you maybe overcame from childhood, or would you say something else?
Yeah, I had a pretty stressful childhood, we'll put it that way. Yeah, it's definitely from childhood. Yeah, I've been this way for a long time, Paul makes a joke. He's like, Kenneth is in the same position that I'm in, but Kenneth never went through the stress. So it's like my brother Kenneth, like he's like, he's in the same position, but he didn't have to tolerate this much stress. So I've always been trying to, I guess from childhood I've always had that, like a stressful life, a lot of responsibilities. You have to understand, like I was supporting a family of 6 at 19. Like I moved out of my house at 15. I was I was my first professional contract offer for basketball. I was turned into a professional at 16 years old. I've had quite a bit of things like that, and those are like the positive aspects, So it's So I like stress. I enjoy it. I live well with it. I need responsibility, as I said. Yeah.
Very
What
interesting.
about you? Why you?
Well, Mr. Jonathan, that is not something I can reveal on this podcast. We can talk a bit more after.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to, what would you say have been the 3 biggest lessons you've learned from your time within the real world?
3 biggest lessons. I learned that you should work every single day. I don't think you should take weekends off. That's the thing that they will tell you. There's a lot of people, when we were living back in Ireland, people were really puzzled why we would work every single day. And that's the thing I learned from Luke, just to work every single day, because your competition is working every single day. And you want to take Saturday and Sunday off, Friday evening, to do what? I find it's very easy to not have these like big dumps in energy if you just consistently do it every day. That feeling, like if you take like Sunday or Saturday off, you have this like dump, and then you're like, oh, here I go again on Monday, And I think if you just have it consistently, keep going, I think that's a lot better. So that's the first lesson. The second lesson is obviously work out every single day as well. Fitness is extremely important if you want to deal with, as I said, again, back on stress. If you want to deal with stress, you need to be fit. Putin even said it himself in like an interview. He's like, they're like, how do you do it? How do you manage this big country? He's like, I work out every day. I have to. Without it, I can't. So even if Putin is saying it, So work out every day. That's the second lesson. And then the third lesson, don't know which one to pick, to be honest. Being positive, I think. Being positive is very important. I learned that, you think maybe from watching like Tate's videos and things like that, you think that everything is like super hardcore and it's all like, dudes smoking cigars and it's all like mafia related stuff. It really isn't. And like most of the people that you meet associated with the real world or that you talk to, they're all super positive people. They're all like optimists, even if things are going wrong for them, they're like if you look at the professor, for example, Arno, like Arno is like he's a personal finance professor in the real world. And he's just like super positive all the time, laughing, joking, like, he's making, I'm sure there are many things going wrong with him. I'm sure, or in his life, like, I'm sure there's many stressful things, but he's always positive and there's no room for negativity. And that's what I really like about the real world as well. It's just a super, super positive place. Yeah.
All right. Great points. So since you're on this trajectory now, where do you see your life heading in, let's say, 6 months to 1 year? Feel free to give me a different time span as well, if you prefer.
Where do I see my life heading?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to find a stable place to live. That's number one. And then I'm going to scale. I've been getting a lot of requests to do consultations, been getting paid to do consultations lately for social media and growing things and marketing and things like that. So I'm going to try and set that up as well. Maybe like a personal brand, we'll see. And then also just scale out these businesses that we have going on right now, and I need to figure out, for me, what I need to figure out is how to get more clients. Because I know there's other avenues. I know I said that most of our clients come from referrals, but I want to have the skill of being able to acquire clients at will, if that makes sense. And I know there's people that can do that. And then the second thing I want to get better at is automating things. So I'll probably have a lot of the business automated, maybe in 6 months' time. And I think that's another skill. So those are things I'm focusing on. As far as money amounts, I can't really reveal that. I know that's probably what you're looking for, but
that's fine. No, completely fine.
Yeah. So, and then, I mean, for me, I have my brother and my best friend with me working on all this stuff. So we'll just continue doing that. I'd like to pay off my parents' house, the mortgage. That'd be nice. I'm already doing little things for them, like flying them out and paying for apartments and things like that for them to stay in, and all these kind of things, and big gifts. And things are looking up in that sense. But I do eventually want to pay off their house in Ireland. So that'd be a nice thing to do. But I hope they don't see this.
Okay. I mean, interesting how common of a goal that is within the real world students of helping their parents, whether it's retiring, paying things off. Whereas in the outside world, I mean, it seems kind of weird. I mean, the people are saying, well, your parents, they're independent people and they can look after themselves, whereas the children just go out and don't really care about giving back. So it's interesting the mentality there of pretty much every real world student compared to the average.
Yeah, I would advise though. I think if someone is gonna, I'm not sure if this is gonna get left in, but don't focus on it too much too soon, because I think you can kind of like, you know, that meme of the kid driving a bike, and then he takes a stick and then puts it in his front wheel, and then he flips over, and then he's like, "Oh my God, how could this happen to me?" You know, I feel like if you focus too much on other people too soon, like if you have $50, let's say you have that $50 that you want to buy the real world, right? And people will make this mistake. They'll take the 50 and they'll either give it to someone else or they pay for somebody else. You have to invest in yourself. I think that's number one. You should focus on investing first in yourself, build yourself up to the point where you have so much money that like retiring your parents doesn't mean anything. You know, I think too many people will focus on like they'll make their first 10 grand a month and they're like, right, 5 is going off to my mom, you know, or something like that, or instantly. And it's like that 5 reinvested back into your own business would cause you to go maybe to 20K or to 30K, where eventually that initial 5 means nothing. So that's why I would say I tell
Completely fair. Yeah.
Not do that. Yeah.
Okay, so a bit on a different topic now. What kind of an impact would you say Tate has had on you personally, outside of what you said already?
Tate's been, yeah. I mean, he's a very positive, masculine role model. You know, he's very much like the guy that we kind of were missing. I think a lot of people from, I presume we're both similar age. I think when we were like 10 years old, 12 years old, it wasn't really, outside of like superheroes, there wasn't really anyone that you could be like, oh wow, that's someone that has his stuff together that I could look up to. That's someone that has a life that I would like similar aspects from, not everything obviously, but you know, some things of his life that I would really like, or at least the option of living a life like that, you know. So I think what the Tates bring is they basically show you what's possible, and you don't know what's possible until you've seen it. With us humans, I feel like we're like that, you know. So it's like seeing a sum of money. It's like until you hit like, I don't know, 5-10K, like before that, when you're a young kid, you're like, that's impossible. That'll, like the Matrix will tell you, like that'll take you like 20-30 years to get to that, you know. And then you have like 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, you know, they get it done in a couple of months, like, you know, and then they're consistently making like way bigger sums, you know. And once you start seeing money, like once you start seeing cash, or that you're able to pay for things, and like you're able to, like, you know, you start seeing the amounts go up, and you're like, just the flow of money, like from this to this to this to this, you know, you're like, okay, this is possible, and now I can scale it out. But a lot of people, they haven't gone through that initially, like they haven't seen it, so they don't believe it. But once you're inside like the real world, let's say, and you see all the wins coming in, you're like, okay, so it is possible. How old is this guy? Oh, this is possible. This is possible. So again, relating it back to the Tates, that's what they show you. They show you what's possible. They show you that you can, you know, have this fantastic life, that you can be in shape, that you can have good business partners, that you can have good friends, that you can have lots of people like you, can have beautiful women, let's say, you can have lots of money, you can have all these things. And you can still be young while doing it. You don't have to be 85 years old, you know. So they show you what's possible, and that for me was a big thing. That if you're a competitive person, if you're somebody that is looking to always like better yourself, you need to like look up and be like, okay, what do I aspire to? If you have nobody to look up to, if you have nobody to aspire to, it's very difficult to kind of like force that out of yourself.
Great answer, Jonathan.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, great to hear that Tate has had that kind of a positive effect on you. I'd say it was similar with me as well in terms of the things you taught me.
It's good, yeah.
It's a great point. I think before I was thinking, yeah, I need to save up money, and it's only like later on that I'd be able to actually retire. But now you see, even just mindset in terms of, I used to think I wanted to retire before, but now I don't even want to retire. So even if I get the money, I mean, what am I going to do after quote unquote retiring? Let's say I retire at 28. Then what? Just sit on a beach? I mean, that's just boring. I want to do something.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You
I mean,
might be able to do it for like a day or two, and then you'll be like, "No, this is
yeah.
not it." Yeah.
Then I don't know. I think you just go to degeneracy because what else are you gonna do if you're not preoccupied with productive work? Anyway,
Yeah, true.
so I'm happy to wrap up here. So for my final question, for people who are still unsure about joining the real world, maybe they're thinking it's a scam for $50.
Yeah.
What advice would you have to them?
What do I have to say to them? Or
What
what you say?
advice would you have to them to maybe for them to consider joining?
For them to consider joining? I would just be like, I would ask them honestly. I would be like, do you like not being able to pay if like your parents got into an accident? Do you enjoy that? Like, I'd be like, do you enjoy being poor? Do you enjoy like not going, not being able to spend money on dinner? Do you enjoy not being able to pay for dates? Is that a thing that you like? Do you enjoy not being able to buy nice clothes or take care of the people around you? Or like having to like when you're looking at a menu to like look at the cheapest things, is that what you enjoy? Like if that's what you enjoy, then it's definitely not for you. But if you want to make money, if you want to have financial stability, if you want to learn from the best, be surrounded by the best, be surrounded by positive people that will change your life every single day, then you'd want to put in like $50. You'd want to put in a lot more, to be honest with you, but it's $50. Like it's very little money. Like you have to, as I said earlier, you have to invest in yourself. Like you have to change it, But then I will also say, like, listen, if you don't want it, I'll take it. Like if you don't want to, like, if you don't want the money, if you don't want to become rich and all that, that's fine. Like, listen, like we'll take it. It's fine. Someone else will. You know what I mean? Like, because there's a lot of winners, like, and the winners like to win. But if you're not a winner, if you don't like winning, then of course, like, it's not suited for you. If you don't have $50 to put in to, like, get the education, just even to see, like, this like absolute like magnificent tool that is presented and built by over 110 people that work daily, like 16 hours a day, to make this tool like as perfect as possible for you to be able to make money. Like if you don't want to put in $50 for that, like, well, you got big problems, is what I would say. And then I would say stop trying completely. Like then don't even look into it. Turn off the computer, go live in the wilderness or something, like, that's what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It's your only chance, really. Like what else? Like what else can you possibly do? Like if you can't really, like, without besides the real world, you're stuck with what? You've got YouTube videos and you've got university. University max will make you, your first starting job maximum will pay 35 grand, 40K before taxes, depending where you live. Like in the Western world, 45K, there isn't much more that you'll make realistically. Like people will tell you, oh, you'll be on 100 grand. You won't. It's completely untrue. And then the other, what's the option? I said university, and then you've got, what did I say? A job? No, YouTube videos. You got YouTube videos to learn from. Like they're already behind. The money's already been made. When they're already announcing like some sort of coin and they're telling you on YouTube, like it's already too late. It's already at the top. They're about to start dumping it. Like you're already behind. Like, so you've got basically all you've got left is like, get into some place that can teach you about money, that can teach you how to make money, and that's what I would do. It's your only real option. Like otherwise, stop trying.
Very well put once again, Jonathan. And yeah, I mean, one of the best pitches I've had, to be honest. So good stuff.
And you can learn all this in the marketing bootcamp.
Pardon?
And you can learn all this in the marketing bootcamp. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Okay, so for people who want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
I suppose, look, if you want to talk about the real world, message Rockus. I'd say probably reach him pretty easily, and there's probably links down there below. But if you want to talk to me or you want to see the life that we're living and get in contact with me, you can reach me on Instagram, Jonathan Posaitis. So that's the @ so Jonathan, and then Posaitis, Pesaitis. That's on Instagram.
Okay. We'll add that to the description of the video, so anyone interested, check that. And Jonathan, thank you for your time. Thank you for the insights. I look forward to doing a follow-up with you in future to see how things have scaled for you.
Yeah.
And until then, I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. All right, awesome.
impossible to not make money.
Being part of a community of students.
We all help each other. We're all in there for one thing, and that's to make money.
It's what allowed me to quit my job.
It's pure freedom.
Take their money.
Batteries released on every target you got now!
Yes, sir. Fire.
Target acquired.
Then we have a deal.
Yes. That's a yeah.
Sometimes, controversial influencer Andrew Tate has been banned from Facebook and Instagram.
I mean, okay, yes.
But I don't think you want to take advice from someone who's in the middle of a human investigation. Accusations of beating women, criminality, toxicity, psychopathy. They don't see the full con that he's running.
Fucking pyramid scheme, bro.
How are people getting scammed by it?
He's lying when he offers you that. Oh, you can get rich too, because that's how pyramid schemes work.
And that's why I decided to finally cancel my plans to become cash rich.
I canceled my Hustlers University subscription cold-hearted.
See how easy it is to scam on the internet?
This attack is an act of desperation.
Target remains. I repeat, target remains.
You literally dodged a bullet.
We was just dodging bullets on an everyday basis.
Within the first 90 days of joining Hustlers University 2.0, I made like over $12,000.
And I also make over 10K with HU2. This is the best program to start a side hustle and get out of the 9-to-5.
All of the knowledge from the professors and Andrew himself, I mean, it's incredible. It really is.
Incredibly intelligent man. I think what he's doing is very important. Right now, there's a huge war on masculinity. What he's doing is incredibly important.
Andrew Tate is a showman who has strong beliefs, who's an incredible communicator, and he keeps pushing the envelope and pushing the envelope and pushing the envelope until eventually people are sitting there saying, we got to silence this guy.
I know there's only a matter of time until I'm banned from every single social media and I don't exist anymore. It's fine. I exist in the real world.
Right.
In your nightmares. Like Freddy Krueger. Oh, Tate's been banned for a year and a half. I wonder what he's doing. Knock, knock. I'm coming.
Never send a human to do a machine's job. Welcome to the real world.
You are taught by millionaires.
Not only having contact with actual multi-millionaires, being part of a community of students. It's a community.
People that are there for you.
I've made 5K this month from just joining. That's fucking crazy.
I made 4K in my first month.
I made $2,000 in only 2 weeks at 15.
My goal was to match my 9-to-5 income. I shadowed that.
It's what allowed me to quit my job.
About making as much fucking money as people who make money, and you will make money because I make the most money.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.